Good morning, folks. It's been a minute. I know, been dealing with a lot. As you all know, the passing of my mother happened the same week. Well, it didn't happen the same week of Christmas, but the process of wrapping everything up with her as far as her service arrangements and stuff like that goes carried us into the Christmas holiday and past it a little bit. But that was yesterday. You know, it was a hard year. It was a hard year. A lot happened in 2025. Today. This is the first week going into the new year. Everybody likes to focus on New Year's Day, and I think this is exactly how I done things last year, starting on the Sunday leading up to the first day of the new year. Got a lot to talk about today as far as weight loss goes, and a lot to talk about over the next few days as far as diets go, wrapping up 2025, going into the new year. This is the first week of the new year. The first week going into the new year. As you can see, today is Sunday, December 28th, 2025. And we got today, which will be 1, tomorrow 2, Tuesday 3, Wednesday 4. 4 days left going into the new year. And then Thursday, of course, we will be in January of 2026. But I'm not waiting to Thursday to get into things. It's time to start putting the past behind me, one day at a time. Overcoming loss and also regaining my composure about, moving forward with diet and things. Now, despite the fact that I'm going through things, doesn't mean I haven't been keeping up with what's going on out there. Now, the year of 2025 brought me into places that I never expected to go. And we'll talk about that over the next few days. But for today, we're going to talk about last year going into 2025 as a new year. I knew I wanted to focus on weight loss. And there are some out there that put a number on that. And I've done that in the past, so I know a little bit of something about that. I used to put a number on like, I want to lose 100 pounds within the year. I want to lose 20 pounds within the month. I want to lose 30 pounds within the month. I want to lose 10 pounds within the week. I did things different in 2025. I didn't go with numbers. I wasn't dealing in any kind of absolutes like that again. And I think by me doing that, now the one absolute I did, the only one that I did deal with is I wanted to get into the 270s. I started around close to 340 pounds at this time last year. I want to get as close to the 270s as I could get and maintain there once I got there. Now I knew that 270 was not my ideal BMI, but it was a focal point of balance something that would put me about halfway to where I needed to go, and something to focus on keeping and learning, how to balance out diet to maintain that weight loss, which I accomplished through several different methods. I started out with a lot of calorie control in the beginning, because that is what I was used to. That is what I always focused on in the past. Not so much as far as that goes, or the restrictiveness of it at the end of it all. A lot of you know this story and pretty much know how things turned out, especially toward the springtime, with my experience of the whole sugar diet.
Hello. Please step on the
My sugar diet days brought me into some weight loss methods that I was not as familiar with.
Your weight is 271.8 pounds.
All right, so you see that, you hear that, 271.8 pounds. Almost 272 pounds now. Up until this past week, going into the holidays, I was maintaining and down into the 250s. So I've gained some weight here. I've gained a little weight here. Maybe about 15 pounds worth. I've done it somewhat intentionally, to be honest with you. Somewhat intentionally to start off the new year. Going into the new year. I'm not my perky usual self yet, but I will get there as we go along, as we move on with all of this throughout the year. Still, dealing with the fact of, my mother is no longer here. It's a lot harder than you think it would be. It's a lot harder than you think it would be, but I know she is in a better place than we are right now. She is definitely in a better place than we are right now. So, 271.8. Meaning that not only did I achieve my weight loss goal within the year, but I also have maintained it very well throughout the year. Like I say, I'm really not dealing in absolutes. I could have easily achieved, through some of the diet methods that I have come accustomed to within the last 6 months, and probably maintained at a lower weight, because I was doing pretty darn good at maintaining in the 250s there just before the passing of Mother and the holidays hit. But this is the first time that I have stepped on a scale now in probably about a week and a half to 2 weeks, somewhere around there. First time I've stepped on a scale, so I didn't even step on the scale knowing or know what it was going to say before I even started this video camera today, like I normally do. That's my normal habit. I did not do that today. I was willing to accept whatever results that thing was going to show me the minute I turned on this camera and started talking to you guys. So it's a lot going on out there. A lot going on out there. So, I did want to pick up some of the weight that you see on that scale. And just so you know, it reflects. It reflects in my stomach area. I am puffed. I am swollen right now. I have been focusing on some gluten-free options as far as snacks goes that I will not be focusing on for a minute while I'm trying to achieve weight loss. But I've been focused on a little bit of gluten-free stuff, like these poppables here. I'm not sure if these ones is gluten-free or not. I might have gotten some that were not gluten-free here. Veggie poppables, I think they say were gluten-free. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back into it again. Not sure about those. They might not have been. I ate them regardless. This pizza was gluten-free. It doesn't exist anymore. Only the box now. And of course, I've been eating these rice cakes here that definitely are gluten-free. Gluten-free options as far as snacks goes. Really digging rice cakes and stuff as far as that goes. That's just a few things I can show you. And then there's the bad stuff that is totally not gluten-free that I've been eating. That's been, you know, when someone passes, you have food catered into the family, right? There have been all kind of cakes brought over. Let's see, what else do we have? Sandwich trays. Sandwich trays, you know. Some of those sandwich trays involved turkey. And that would be the type of thing. I've eaten a lot of animal product lately too, in the way of chicken. Friday after my mother's service, some fried chicken was brought into the house. Up at my parents' house. Probably still some fried chicken left up there. Most of it got gone though. So fried chicken, macaroni pie. If you're a Southerner, you know what macaroni pie is. It's just macaroni and cheese baked in the oven. I think it's got egg. Definitely the noodles. None of that was gluten-free. And the cheese. Some of the stuff I probably shouldn't have been eating, you know, even with the gallbladder issues that I've got going on. I'm still facing gallbladder removal surgery. Still in the air about how that's gonna go. But the medication they give me keeps me from flaring up and from getting the attacks. So I've relied on that medication a little bit, you know, through all of this to get me through it. More so than the low-fat diet that I should be focusing on. I have really let myself go over the holidays. Now remember, I like to focus on a 90% plant-based diet. And I actually enjoy that diet. I enjoy inducing and feeling the effects of FGF21 that some out there refuse to focus on. Refuse to focus on it. I mean, it's like how can you, you know, throw around ketosis in one breath, but yet dismiss FGF21 in another? I mean, not outright, of course, but listen, as far as the sugar diet goes, it was all about the low protein aspect that induced the FGF21, which I have found out and showed you all. We could do that with vegetables. We could do that with starchy vegetables. Fasting for prolonged hours induces FGF21. Prolonged fasting a certain amount of time induces FGF21. I got all the data that I could pull up to back up the things and the claims that I am talking. Plenty of data. Plenty of data. McDougal himself, when you're choosing some kind of starchy vegetable, who would talk about protein restriction and weight loss without quite going into what we're talking about as far as FGF21 goes. In fact, let's find out when FGF21 was discovered, because I know Gregor put out information on it like 2 years ago. Going on 3 years ago now that we're heading into 26, right? Oops. Put FGH. When was FGF21 discovered? All right, let's do a little bit of reading here. All right, so this goes back a way, so McDougal would have known a little something about this, I'm sure. When he talked about low protein, it says fibroblast growth factor 21, FGF21 was first cloned. What does that mean? Was first cloned. That's what it says right there. First cloned and identified as a novel liver express gene in 2000 by some name I can't pronounce. That name right there. And collagens, however, its significant role as a powerful endocrine hormone regulating glucose and lipid metabolism rather than a typical growth factor was revealed later, with key functional discoveries published around 2005. And that's all I'm going to read about it for now, because I just ain't into it right now. I just know it works and I know how to activate it. It all revolves around brown adipose tissue. In fact, if you're talking about ketosis versus FGF21 in itself, it's way easier to induce FGF21 than it is to induce ketosis as far as that type of thing goes. So basically, if there is a such thing as keto vegans, vegan keto, that is a thing. People practice. I know Heavenly Fan was one of them I used to watch all the time. She came out with those famous keto French fries everybody was raving about 4 or 5 years ago. You remember they were made with like almond flour and coconut flour mixed with xanthan gum. Keto fries. But aside from all that, but I guarantee a lot of their success in a diet such as that, because fat also is a factor in FGF20. It has a role in FGF21, even though it's not as powerful as carbohydrates. So you could totally eat the two of them together in theory and still be able to induce FGF21, which led me into my gallbladder trouble because I was trying to experiment with tater tots and French fries, which led to being a mistake on my part, because those things did a little more than induce FGF21, and it loosened the stone in my gallbladder and causing me, issues in that department. But luckily for me, when you're dealing with a stone, they recommend low-fat diets until your surgery or whatever, to help you get by, which I have not done. I've relied on the medication because I'm the type of person who wants to take you there fully. And I think I could do that in a better way by backing myself up to the 270s, you know, and then working my way back down from here, starting the first week into the new year, which is what I'm doing now. And yeah, I will be showing you food. Exercise and movement and fasting and low protein. All these are factors that can induce FGF21. So if you're using any tactics that kind of go along with that, not to include it in your conversation is a mistake, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's a mistake on your part not to include it in your conversations, because it gets pretty complex when it comes to certain things, because certain proteins shut it off. Anything animal, even yogurt-based animal products, I have struggled with being able to drop weight when I was doing low fat and I was including a lot of fat-free yogurt and that type of thing. Every time I eat animal, the weight goes up. In fact, I've been looking into, you know, our closest relatives, you know, because, you know, we're omnivores, right? We're omnivores, and our closest dietary companions are chimpanzees and some other primates, but those are our closest ones. And they, oddly enough, eat mostly fibrous and plant-based. When they eat fruit, they eat a lot of low sugary fruits like figs and berries, and bananas probably being the highest sugar source that they actually use. So they're not really doing a whole bunch of abundance in tropical, and that's probably just because those type of things grow around the specific areas where they live. They also dig for tubers using tools like sticks and things like that, tubers, roots, root vegetables and things like that. It says when they do a protein, occasionally they eat it. Kind of like, you know, back when I was messing with mostly fruit and juicing, you know, because I ate a lot of fruit, you know, especially grapes and tangerines and stuff like that along with the juicing. I did eat a lot of fruit, looking back into it all. But, you know, and I did a lot of blueberries and strawberries and stuff like that in the smoothies. So, and that's what I plan on doing, you know, going forward, using some leafy greens like the chimpanzees do, some low sugar fruit sources, vegetables, you know, because after all, we are human, we're not chimpanzees. We are cookivores, if we're anything, because we know how to manipulate food and how it's consumed through methods like cooking, steaming, grilling, that type of thing. We are not 100% like our cousin, even though our diets are similar. We have some methods of like pickling and stuff like that we have found to be healthy and different things like that. I mean, we're evolved. We're an evolved species. But we can take, you know, like our closest relatives and learn, you know, how to cut and lean. And they stay lean through their activity. Their activity meaning their movement. Their movement and body calisthenics. I mean, they swing, they hang, they do a lot of that stuff, and they do a lot of movement. In nature. So that is how I plan to continue doing my walking. I've tried to do a little more body calisthenics. You know, I've tried to do those things. I haven't even been doing my walking, folks, in the past week and a half as much. Probably contributed to some of this fat gain that I'm seeing going on right now. I'm doing some remedy on that right now as I'm talking to you. I'm taking these actual steps toward weight loss. I'm at 2,500. I find it challenging after being away from it to even get in the 10,000 at the moment, but I will get them in today and every day after this, going forward into the week, easing back into it slowly. But yeah, I got a lot to do as far as food and things go. I'm not really prepared to go in this today. I'm going to have to run to the Dollar General. I do have some things in there in the kitchen that I can use in preparation today, but I'm just not fully prepared. I got to go get a few things, and I think the things that I can get started on as far as today's food sources for me goes to induce FGF21 again. Oh yeah, I'll be following some kind of 16-8 method as well. My 16-8 method will probably be more like a 4 to 5 eating window later in the afternoon, and try to have a cutoff time by at least 6 to 6:30 p.m. because I think getting digestion, the digestion process is also a big part of some of this, which is kind of why I'm looking into gluten-free, because gluten takes as long as red meat does to process through your body. I think 2 to 3 days to fully get by it, and some people who are experts on it say longer. So I know in the past I've eaten a lot of spaghetti and stuff like that on the plan with gluten. I think gluten actually, I started having some sensitivities to it. I'm definitely gluten sensitive. I can't tolerate much of it without going into pain. So when I eat it, like you see that pizza there, is gluten free. I've been testing a few things. I eat that, with some mushrooms and black olives with just regular mozzarella cheese on it to just see how it affects me. I actually tolerated it very well. Didn't eat it all in one setting, which is a tiny pizza. I easily could have, but I didn't. So I want to, experiment with some gluten-free crust, making my own, with the focus of FGF21 in mind, using some plant-based sources for pizza. Got some ideas from that. What I was about to touch on a while ago is when it comes to proteins, it's a little complex of a situation where you're talking about animal protein versus plant protein, because butyrate is a big factor in activation of FGF21. So when you take in beans, and you're getting the protein source for muscle building and stuff, it may slow down the FGF21 briefly until the digestion. That's what I was talking about. Digestion, I think, is an important role in all of this. Once the digestion starts to occur, it produces butyrate, and butyric acid is a big inducer of FGF21. Hence why when I was doing the bean burgers mixed with the rice and all of that, I was able to drop some weight back down from weight gain through eating things like that. Could have had better, faster results if I was avoiding a little more gluten at the time. So yeah, it's kind of the same strategy with new modified methods that we're going to introduce starting today, going forward. Definitely going to be using more gluten-free options, as far as noodles and things like that go. And I'm not going to get or jump into the Mary's Mini, the more stricter protocols right out of the gate. we will save that till when weight loss starts to struggle and I start to have standstills. Then we will go into the more extreme protocols. But doing all of that up front is a bad strategy, because when you do too much too fast too up front, that's when you run into those hiccups. Sooner or later they're coming. The more weight you have to lose, the more you're gonna lose up front. But you know, at some point you're gonna level out, and you gotta have a strategy for those struggles. So we're gonna save those for when they're needed. Jumping on them right out of the gate is not ideal, at least as far as I'm concerned. These are just my opinions, how I'm doing things. You know, I want to eat. I want to eat good. We are definitely not going to be doing, you know, any kind of strict type of fasting or anything. We're going to eat and enjoy our food, enjoy recipes, and enjoy sharing that type of thing with you guys. Slow, healthy weight loss is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for fast results through any kind of restricting. That is not what I'm about anymore. And I think I've pretty much proven myself as far as being able to walk the walk when it comes to these things. Yeah, let's get to walking. Let's get to walking together, shall we? All right, folks, it's good to be back. Guess who's back? Too late to go home now. And that's all I got for this video, folks. So until the next one, tell me what you think down in the comments. And you folks have a good one.